the Lions themselves sitting here at 8-2, 7.5-point favorites over the Packers. Packers coming off a win against the Chargers. And I would say, if you're a Packers fan, little bit of optimism here over the last couple of weeks. I think Jordan Love getting a little bit better these last few weeks, playing a little cleaner.
Yeah.
And some of those young receivers, just a few weeks ago, we were talking about how they're never on the same page and there's some issues. I think signs of life from this Green Bay passing attack the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, signs of life. Let's remember last week came against the Chargers defense.
I understand. I'm trying to bring some optimism here.
I know. The week before, but realism, let's not lie to the people.
That's true.
The week before was better. Like, Jordan Love actually played probably the best game he's played in the NFL against the Steelers, and they have a better defense. So that one I think is fair. Last week, it was the Chargers defense that is becoming a joke, and they lost Joey Bosa during the game. It was an awful, awful defense. So, I don't know that you can take that much from last week and say, well, look, that's now 2 games in a row, stack one on top of the other, and we're building something here. It's really 1 game in a row, and then a game that if they hadn't cleared that hurdle, it would have been, catastrophic. So, yes, Jordan Love's played a couple of good games on the bounce, only one of which I think really has any meaning. This week is a much stiffer test against the Lions defense that's good.
The first matchup was in Green Bay, and the Lions won 34-20, pretty handily, right? I mean, it was the Thursday night football game, and by the way, this is the Lions' 3rd Thursday game of the year. They used to never get primetime Thursday night games because they had Thanksgiving. This is the only Thursday game that they would get, and this is their 3rd Thursday game of the year.
Now the NFL doesn't care how many times you play on Thursday.
Yeah, they don't care. Yeah. I mean, you get these short weeks, but you get the extra break coming out of it too. But people want to see the Lions because they're exciting. And Jared Goff, that's one thing I'll be keeping an eye on here. We know Jared Goff has these home road splits where he's a completely different quarterback, but last week was at home and he had his worst game of the season by far.
He's the opposite of Jordan Love. He's coming off like the worst game we've seen from him in a long time. So how does he bounce back?
Yeah, and I meant to mention it on the review show, but we had to go quick. We only had 2.5 hours. What I saw from Goff in that game was him just not seeing the field, right? Like when you try to explain why did a quarterback have a bad game, it's tough to explain other than he just made 3 or 4 bad reads.
Right, made several bad decisions.
Right. Like he did these things that he never does.
Yeah.
Right? Let me throw into double coverage on the goal line. Let me just when he worked back to the middle of the field, found TJ Edwards instead of, a Lion. So I don't know that those are going to continue, I think it's, Goff had played really clean, throwing the ball accurately down the field, and just made some really bad decisions in that game. Ended up with 3 interceptions, had 3 turnover-worthy plays. They weren't all the same plays. But then in crunch time, when you needed to come back, the Lions running attack, Goff throwing the ball down the field, that all got them back in here. So to me, the Lions are just too good right now across the board with their running attack, their pass game, pass defense, run defense. I mean, they do it all extremely well. Offensive line, I think, should have their way against Green Bay. We've talked about Green Bay's run defense kind of being hit or miss. A couple weeks ago, it was a disaster against the Steelers. Most of the time it's been okay, but I think the Lions can handle all that, right? If they take away the run, I think they can throw it. So there's a reason why the Lions are favored by a touchdown plus.
Yeah, no, there is. I think they're a significantly better team. It's a challenge for Green Bay on both sides of the ball. The offense needs to show that they can keep what momentum they've created rolling against a better team, and then the defense needs to not just be annihilated by a Lions offense that's good. So that's like up front, they need to stand up against a really good offensive line in Detroit, and then on the back end, they need to hold up against the Lions' weaponry. So they're a touchdown favorite, and you can see why.
Injury-wise, the Packers are completely banged up, all of their pass catchers and running backs. Aaron Jones, MCL sprain, so, I mean, he's being called week to week, but he's doubtful. He's certainly
not playing.
He's probably not playing. A.J. Dillon, other running back, questionable. Emmanuel Wilson with a shoulder injury, the other running back, questionable.
That's all of their running backs.
That's all their running backs. Luke Musgrave, the rookie tight end, with an abdomen injury that had him in the hospital in Green Bay. So he's questionable. That doesn't sound great. Tight end Josiah DeGuara, Dontavian Wicks, the receiver, Jaden Reed, the receiver, was added to the practice report on yesterday, with a chest injury. So what's left? for
Not
the
much.
Green Bay pass catchers. You know, like I was saying, be optimistic about how this group has started to play, and all the guys to be optimistic about are hurting. So it's not great. Is there any other? Patrick Taylor's the remaining running back here for Green Bay?
It's going to be a million targets to Christian Watson.
So yeah, they're shorthanded. The matchup to highlight, I think maybe as we did the first time around, Rashawn Gary when he's rushing against Penei Sewell, one of the better matchups you'll see in the NFL. So where are you going to go in this one? A banged up Packers team going up against the juggernaut that is the Lions.
I think I'm going to lean towards Detroit. I know it's already a touchdown, more than a touchdown, 7.5, but I think they can cover that.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think the Lions won by 14 in Green Bay the first time around. I think they're the same team plus how injured Green Bay is right now. So it doesn't always work that way in football. Sometimes, you got guys step up, but I think Detroit's just going to be too good.